There was a study that came out of Israel about natural immunity, and basically the headline was that natural immunity provides a lot of protection, even better than the vaccines alone. So as we talk about vaccine mandates, I get calls all the time. People say, I've already had COVID, I'm protected, and now the study says maybe even more protected than the vaccine alone. Should they also get the vaccine? How do you make the case to them?
You know, that's a really good point, Sanjay. I don't have a really firm answer for you on that.
The question is, what do you do when you start mandating vaccines and people who've had COVID are then told you also have to get this, or you can't work, or you can't do this, you can't do that? If you want to create distrust, anger, resentment, and then the next pandemic that comes along, no one listens to you, this is the way to do it.
So, I mean, first of all, let me make this clear. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not one of them people. No, not at all. I'm not trying to encourage nobody not to get a vaccine. No. I'm just trying to make sure that we have all of the information in the discussion. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the way you find truth. You can't just have selective facts. We got to have all the facts. And I'm wondering why we're not talking about this. You know, because this is my perspective. And I haven't really shared my perspective on this at all. First of all, I'm an organic person. I'm a vegan. I don't drink. I don't smoke. You know, and I am very healthy. Up to this point in my life, it has worked well for me. When I go to the doctor and have a checkup, they brag on me. Literally, this happened. A nurse came up there and said, wow, look at you. Calling nurses, it was embarrassing. They were calling nurses in and say, look at this guy. See, this shows you don't have to just get older and just let yourself go down. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to just say, using myself as an example, what I have been doing has worked very well for me. So the whole concept of introducing an inorganic, something unnatural into my body, that doesn't mesh with my current lifestyle. That's me. My personal thing. So I'm trying to actually get as much information about the vaccine as possible so I can make an informed decision for myself. COVID is serious. I'm not trying to downplay. It is very serious. But the majority of people who get COVID recover, make a full recovery. There's a certain population that is especially dangerous too. Matter of fact, if my mother was alive, I'd be like, Mama, go get the vaccine, because she fit right in there. Well, me being who I am and the lifestyle that I live, I don't really fall into that category. So I'm really trying not to take the vaccine, because I think I'm pretty confident that if I got COVID-19, then I'm going to recover from it. I don't even think it's going to affect me that hard. And guess what happened? I caught COVID-19. And guess what happened? For a few days, I felt crappy. I ain't going to lie. And then after 3, 4 days, I bounced back. And the rest of my quarantine time, I went fishing out on the lake by my lake. I call it my COVID-19 vacation. I had a ball. Now, that is not to belittle or try to say that COVID is not serious. That's not what I'm saying. But based on the information that I had, I made a prediction. My prediction was correct. And now I find that I went through the process that my immunity is stronger than the people who are fully vaccinated. Then my question would be to whoever's trying to push this mandate. Why should I get vaccinated? Why? When the reality is there are nations who don't even have access to the vaccine. But you trying to make people get the vaccine who don't really need it. What's going on? There are countries, so-called undeveloped countries, who are like 2% of their population has had access to a vaccine. They don't have enough. But in America, we hoard all of it. And we're trying to force it upon people who don't even need it. And we're not even putting this into the national conversation. So you have people in the population who are ignorant, who say, oh, you didn't get a vaccine, you're the problem, you're just stupid, and you don't even have all the information. People do that to me. They do that to me.
Well, you know what it boils down to is it's something that we always say every week. Mm-hmm. You know, and that is we need to have our own independent sovereign nation. And the reason I brought that up was because at some point as a people we got to recognize that it's no longer taking their word for what is true and what is false. We have to begin to start recognizing that we need our own facilities, our own institutions that can do the research and give us the statistical data to show us what's really going on, in particular with this vaccine and in general with COVID-19. But what we have to recognize is how we are considered outsiders of the system, because, see, they'll give $5 billion, I'm sorry, to Wuhan, China to do research on COVID-19. But they won't give $5 billion to our community, our black communities here in the United States. And so as a people, we have to continue to jot these things down to remember who we up against and who we dealing with. And they have a lot of agents out here that say, black and white, that say, can't we just get along? It's not a black-white thing. All of these colloquial expressions, I'm going to call it, to try to ward off any idea, concept that we need to have our own so we can determine for ourselves what to be true and what to be false.
Black woman, black man, black child, we stand together hand in hand, fight for freedom, new African. Black woman, black man, black child, we stand together hand in hand, fight for freedom to free the land. Free the land, got to free the land. Free the land, gotta free the land. I was told if you too black, you too strong. But we've been lied to and beat down for too long. But it's a new day, time to sing a new song. Enough been enough, it's time for us to move on. We've been discriminated, hated, and castrated.